amalungu endlu abekekileyo mandithi nqanga nentsiba zayo. Ewe ke kambe akukho kanga ingethi. Namhlanje sikhumbula indedeba yakwaMshengu, former deputy president. Wanga umphefumlo wakhe ungaphumla ngoxolo. Lala zama umhle uzamile tata uDidi Kamabuza. Izwe lakowethu lonke liyanqakama ngeli xesha kuba kaloku impilo ngamanzi. There's no substitute for water. Honorable Chair and honorable members, allow me to quote the president when he was addressing us as a nation. Ndizawucaphula nje ndivule ndizivale izikhamiso. An urgent priority is to ensure a secure and reliable supply of water across the country. Many people in our cities, towns, and villages are experiencing more and more frequent water shortages as a result of water infrastructure. It is impossible to live without water, and it is impossible for the economy to grow without water, close quote, ndivale izikhamiso. Mandithathele enzulwini malunga abekekileyo alendlu bemi boMzantsi Afrika. Umongameli uthe amanzi mayibe priority number 1. Sima apha ke ngelithi sikhawulezise kuye kuphela ukuthetha kugcwala ukwenza. Kodwa kubalekile into yoba qho ndisima kule ndawo ndingadinwa, ndingabi namkhinqa wokuchaza into yoba thina olethu xanduva yi-water resource, olethu xanduva into yoba senze i-regulation, olethu xanduva into yoba sakha amadami siqinisekise into yoba amanzi ayi-water resource ayakwazi usondela ze umasipala athatha apho sishiye khona. Ayindisitheli ke into yoba amalungu alendlu ngokufanelekileyo nabantu bonke boMzantsi Afrika, they always think that it is the Department of Water that is supposed to supply water in your household, in your taps. The Constitution is very clear. That is the responsibility of local government, of municipality. And if we all understand that, we'll be able to work together to assist our municipalities. We must all of us put hands on the deck to assist municipalities to be able to provide water. Honorable Chair, you will remember that recently we had a water indaba where unanimously we have agreed on 5 pillars as the water sector: public, private, public, and everybody else was there. And we have agreed that the crisis of water is not the crisis in terms of the bulk water supply, but the crisis is based on water that is unable to reach the communities. The 5 pillars are increasing investment through financing options, ensuring the financial viability of the sector, enhancing and strengthening technical and operational capacity and efficiency in the water sector, fighting criminality and corruption in the water sector, as well as building partnership. That is just a summary of the declaration, which you can get in our website. But what have we agreed upon? We have agreed that in the next 6 months, we are going to review and make assessment. How far did we go on what we've agreed upon with municipalities who are supposed to provide water? What have we achieved this far? We are improving water and sanitation services. As you know that the challenge lies when it comes to regulation. So kubalekile ke into basincedisane. As a Minister of Water, I convene meetings with premiers, COCTA MECs, mayors. There is an improvement, I must say. Since the Indaba, there is improvement. There's a municipality here in Western Cape where they are at 40% in terms of closing the leaks. And they were saying to me a month ago, we have seen what has cost us as municipality not to be able to deliver water. If all municipalities can be committed to that, we can move faster. As you know, honorable members, I stood here a year ago to say municipalities are owing the water boards and the water boards are in a verge of collapse. I must say, standing here, we have moved out of being in the state of collapse for 2 water boards because certain municipalities are paying. Tshwane is not owing any water board. City of Johannesburg is not owing any water board. eThekwini is not owing a water board. That on its own, as well as Mangaung, they are not owing water board. If we move at that pace, it means things are going to change. We are also on the track of assessing our water drops. Out of 144 water service authority, 105 are performing dismally. Then that will impact negatively on the reticulation and provision of water. However, we are assisting municipalities as IMC that was appointed by the president. All water users must pay for their services. All municipalities we've agreed they must in-source water tanks and use those water tanks when there is emergency. But what they must focus on is to build the water infrastructure. They must also enter into partnership without privatizing municipalities, but they must enter into partnership when it comes to water because water is affecting everyone. We have developed the Water Partnership Office to assist them. Soon, we'll be tabling Water Services Amendment Bill to this Parliament, which is going to make clarity between the water service provider as well as the water security. And we are also going to bring into this Parliament the National Water Amendment Bill. Honorable members, ladies and gentlemen, we talked about the 3 priorities in 2024-25 financial year. Already, we are about to establish the National Water Resource Infrastructure Agency, which is going to ensure that all water-related matters are put together, as well as if you go out on financial markets, we put everything together. The second one was to diversify water and also come up with water mix and increase the underground water. I can report here, Chair, that when it comes to groundwater, we're working with these municipalities and already we're far ahead. Dr. Ruth Mumpati in Northwest, Oudtshoorn, here in Western Cape, Nzatabane, Dikgatlong, Calvinia in Northern Cape, Tabaswewe in Free State. These 6 municipalities are funded by us to say, whilst we have a water surface, let's go on the underground water. And we're doing very well to tap on the underground water. But also in working with the Partnership Office, we have assisted municipalities on water reuse project. Umhloti, Umkomazi, North Kwamashu, Waste Management, eThekwini, Olifantsfontein, Rooival, Sebokeng, Tshwane, Mfuleni, and many others. I can count up to 15 municipalities that are already on this program because we are assisting them. Chair, on the issue of Gauteng, on the Gauteng and eThekwini water platform, we are far advanced and we're implementing that. We have completed the projects on dams. When we build dams, these dams are built over 5 to 7 months, to 7 years. Already, we're done with Halzemere, and we've also compensated people of Halzemere 40 million houses for 17 households. We are raising the Glen Williams dam, which is we have seen outside here. This dam is now standing at 40%. Zanin, through the Fiscus, we are also raising this dam. In Glen Williams, we are funded by Fiscus. Umzimvubu, we are funded by Fiscus. Limpopo is a blended finance when it comes to Mukolo and Crocodile River. Connery Dam, we are also assisted through the Fiscus. Zalu Dam, Foxwood, Namitwa, there are about 14 dams that we are dealing with. Others are on the design stage. Others are already in construction stage. Therefore, it means that people are going to be better off when we get this water. There are grant-funded water or funded projects of water and sanitation. through the regional bulk water, as well as we seek 110 projects are coming for this financial year on regional bulk supply, and also 163 on the WISIG, which is Water Service Infrastructure Grant, going to various areas in our country. We have broken them down. We are going to share this speech so that members, when they oversight, they can go and look. There are projects that were done and dusted with that have assisted to augment water. If you talk Mangaung last week I was there, where we were handing over a 33.7 water pipeline, which is going to augment water in Mangaung and the surrounding areas. We have also refurbished during the time of closing the tunnel. People of that area, of those areas, they've benefited 39 boreholes as a legacy at the time we closed the tunnel. We wanted to make sure that they get water. There are other projects that we're busy with, 2.4 billion for Maludia Pofung. We have spent 3.5 billion for Machabeng. On that note of Machabeng, we have 30 kilometer sewer lines that we have completed. We have also made it a point that the extension 5 of Castel and Nivedar are taken care of soon. We'll be handing over all these projects. They are completed. Umgeni, with the big Umkomazi project, we are also on track. At Guyane, I know honorable members, the issue of Guyane has been a thorny issue. Out of 24 villages, we have connected 23 villages. One we are going to connect by end of July. Then the 31 villages are coming in for the next financial year. In Mandlakazi bulk supply, we are standing now at 40% of this project. Remember, we have also assisted Umkanyakute district municipalities with 22 projects. All these projects that I'm talking to, if we complete them, but there's no reticulation, members will come here
Minister,
and say there's no water.
will you just take your seat, please? Why do you want to be recognized, Honourable Member?
Very much, Chair. Being sure to Minister ngatatazeli kakhulu ngoba uNhlanhla Mkhwanaza akazalibali igama lakhe. Aze nje kahle
No, Honourable Member. No, Honourable Member, that's not a point of order. Please, order, Honourable Members, order. Continue, Honourable Minister.
Akazulibala nalini nakhululeka mama Khawula lixesha nje dilijongileyo. Iloscope eMpumalanga is standing at 80%, siyayivula ngoku ngoNovember. Ndizama ukuthi ke inezinto sesiyenzile qha xa amanzi engaphumi etepini ayibonakali into bakhona into esiyenzayo, and yawa understand ama members kutheni ezawuthetha lonto. Emfuleni neMidval oko sibe sibancedisa pha ngelindle ebelihamba nje. Emfuleni izolo elinye sisayinile noMinister weFinance uba mababe ne-special purpose vehicle, abantu abazabancedisa baqoqa imali bakwazi ukunika abantu amanzi. Thina we can only oversight them, but we cannot take over umsebenzi womasipala. Siyavumelana ke into yoba eHammanskraal we are done and dusted with phase 1 and phase 2. Currently they are getting 29.1 megaliters per day. Kushiyeke into phaya ku21 esizawunikezela ngo-August and September. Kodwa ke sisebenza neTshwane into ba iTshwane mayilungise iThemba water reservoir, because yiyo esimoshayo. Even last week xa besiphaya bibonakala into ba inongcoliseko. eNorthern Cape we have assisted pha eDouglas kula masipala weSiyancuma kunye nalo masipala waseSolplaatje into abantu mabafumane amanzi. Honourable members, the challenges that we confront are immense, but they need all of us to put our hands on the deck. The issue of water is affecting the entire globe, but also in Africa as a continent. We as South Africa will be hosting on behalf of the AU a water investment summit, because how water is funded is very few. There is no priority that is given to water. The entire continent, entire 55 countries of this continent have requested South Africa to host because there are good stories to tell. Yes, you might not have covered everyone with water, but when we say the people shall govern, we mean calling all water users, the society, the private sector, traditional leaders, and civil servants to protect our water, to protect our infrastructure, to participate in water committees for us to be able to carry this mandate yamanzi into yoba sikwazi sonke abantu bafumane amanzi. Ibudget esithetha ngayo yalo nyaka mali yi-26 billion 678 and sicinga into yoba le ndlu akho mntu ozawuma apha athi ayireject. You reject, we reject you. You reject, we reject you. Ngoba nina reject amanzi, ni reject the budget when you need water. How are we going to work when you reject the budget? You reject, I reject
Honourable
you
Minister,
down on
your
the
time is now
Thank you very
expired.
much.
Thank you. The next speaker is the Honourable Gitebe. Order, honourable members.
Ready? Are you ready? Honorable Chairperson, honorable members, Minister of Water and Sanitation, Temi Majudina, Deputy Minister, David Mahlobo, Deputy Minister, Silo Sitlulo, DG of Water and Sanitation, Sean Phillips, all senior officials of DWS, all leadership collectives and executives of DWS entities, fellow South Africans. The ANC vehemently supports this budget vote. As we gather here to deliberate upon and debate the budget of DWS, its strategic plans and annual performance plans, we do so on the back of a very strong mandate that this House gave the President and the National Executive to commence the establishment of the National Water Resources Infrastructure Agency, a brand new state-owned company that will replace the Trans-Caledon Tunnel Authority, the DWS's water trading entity and infrastructure unit. This will pave way for the NWRIA to borrow money on the market and finance the sorely needed water resource infrastructure to protect and advance the economy and social well-being of all South Africans for their continued prosperity, quality of life, and freedom. We salute the ANC-led Sixth Administration for this forward-looking approach, whose primary purpose is to give effect to Section 27(1)(b) of the Constitution, which is about sufficient food and water. We venture to say the sixth Sustainable Development Goals on water and sanitation finds expression through its domestication and an unwavering commitment to the realization of imperatives of the National Development Plan and the National Water Resource Strategy. As Chairperson, I can hear the predictably naysaying and doomsaying opposition shout that the people have no water. We of the ANC say that those who oppose this budget are disingenuous, delirious, hypocritical, and cognitively dissonant because they claim to speak on behalf of the poor and various sections of the South African voters and the populace at large, while at the same time opposing the adoption of the very fiscal instrument that is set to improve their living conditions. Get this very clear. The people are not fighting for the crazy and warped ideas in your heads. They want clean, safe drinking water as and when they need it, and they want it now. They want a safely managed sanitation, and they want it now. The NWRIA will build on the firm foundation of the TCTA, the WTA, and infrastructure unit of the department, and safely secure our water resources. To this end, the ANC-led GNU intends to eliminate all risk factors such as the water tankering mafia, and some of you know something about that, infrastructure theft and vandalism,
Honorable member, will you take your
Yes.
seat, please? Why do you want to be recognized?
Honorable Ditebe is wagging a PW Porter
No.
finger at us.
No, 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 no. No. No, read the rules, honorable member. Continue, Honorable Ditebe.
Theft and vandalism, tender masterminds, invoice payment facilitators, and 10% collectors. For its part, the ANC in 2025 irrevocably commits to work with communities, community organizations, traditional authorities, and other progressive non-state actors to ensure that every drop of water counts. The ANC encourages struggling municipalities to pool their water and sanitation assets to create special purpose vehicles that will ensure an efficient conservation, management, and reticulation of clean and safe drinking water, as well as safe management of sanitation. This is for purposes of retaining and sustaining the blue drop and green drop assessment reports and the non-revenue water assessment reports, respectively. Honorable Chairperson, we say this while cognizant of the critical state of the 105 water service authorities whose wastewater treatment plants, pump stations, and water reticulation networks have aged and fallen into disrepair over time. These are either being upgraded or replaced because many of them were designed during apartheid and served a minority of the white population. And they must now serve the entire population of 63 million South Africans. In doing so, we choose to not wring our hands or resign into hopelessness, pessimism, cynicism, or simply cup on the sidelines. We choose to be resolute in finding solutions. To this end, the ANC refuses to be bogged down by obstacles. We choose instead to focus on practical solutions, thus bringing laser beam focus, ingenuity, and optimism to challenges by doing the following. 1, upgrade water and energy storage capacity, ensure infrastructure maintenance, deploy the right skill sets to maintain the water and sanitation infrastructure, ring-fence revenue from water, energy, and waste.
Honorable Itebe, will you just take your seat? Honorable Reddy, while you may interject, you cannot deliver running commentary. You are next on the list. Please continue, Honorable Itebe. Desist from that, please. Just desist from that. Continue, Honorable Itebe.
Thank you, Chairperson. That is the typical noisome and voluble Honorable Reddy. I will continue with my speech. Ring-fence revenue from water, energy, and waste. Protect all our water and sanitation infrastructure from vandalism and theft by actively engaging communities and community organizations, as well as parliamentary oversight in support of what our security apparatus ordinarily does. The ANC welcomes allocations of 26.7 billion, 25 billion, and 23.3 billion in the 2025-26, 2026-27, and 2027 financial years, respectively. The allocations to the main account includes conditional infrastructure grants for municipal water services totaling 36.93 billion over the MTF. This includes 19.8 billion for the regional bulk infrastructure grant and 17.1 billion for water services infrastructure grant. That water as a resource is an essential condition for a sound jobs plan and an inclusive growth and industrialization which our country so sorely needs cannot be gainsaid. And that said, we strongly urge the minister and the department to ensure that all projects are concluded on time and within budget to deliver impact and sustainable livelihoods in our communities. This includes, but is not limited to the following. bucket eradication program, building dams, ensuring the liquidity of and going concern status of water boards by getting water service authorities to pay them on time, all the time, and recycling wastewater and desalinating it to expand our water mix. The ANC remains acutely aware of the need to prudently deploy all resources at the disposal of the department to achieve all the objectives of the NWRS, that is the National Water Resource Strategy. To this end, we urge the department to relentlessly pursue the 8 targets of the SDGs, each with its own indicator, as well as the NDP goals and targets in this regard. The ANC is deeply encouraged by the department's collaboration with the Special Investigating Unit to recover hundreds of millions wasted in the infamous War on Leaks program, as well as those funds lost to the state through malfeasance and corruption on the part of DWS officials. To conclude, this transformation and reform we will pursue side by side with every fiber of our being until we have fundamentally changed the social conditions of our multi-forces and all South Africans. Have you heard? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. The next speaker is the Honorable Reddy.
House Chair, I rise on behalf of Mkhonto weSizwe Party and the people of South Africa to reject this budget with all the strength in my heart and in my spirit. You know, it took a police general and not parliament to expose the rot at the highest level. Yes, GNU partners, you are sitting with ministers who are accused of being in bed with drug lords. Take a note of that. Because what General Mkhwanazi did when he exposed corruption involving the Minister of Police, Senzo Mchunu, who incidentally was a former Minister of Water and Sanitation, it proved that Parliament and the so-called GNU have failed in their oversight duty. When politicians start to chase cabinet posts, blue lights and perks, they abandon their duty to hold ministers accountable. Now, I'm deviating from my speech, and I want to respond to you, Minister. The Minister constantly says, it's not my problem. In fact, when we first came in here, she says, when communities are crying out for water, she says, it's not my problem. And in her speech here today, she articulated the very same thing she's been saying for ever since the 7th administration has come into being. Our people, Minister, are facing a deepening water crisis from Hammanskraal to Giyani, from rural schools in Limpopo, KwaZulu-Natal to urban townships in Johannesburg, Cape Town and in Durban. Communities are dying of cholera. Schools are forced to shut their doors, and millions rely on dirty rivers and unreliable tankers. This, Minister, is a national disgrace. Just today, as I entered here, I got an email from a leader in Lusikisiki saying they're drinking water from a river that's infested with some sort of disease and the entire village is affected. They're calling on gift of the givers to help them. Now I'm speaking to you from my heart. If this doesn't move you as a national leader in this country, then I don't know what is going to move you. We can't be in denial and say here, this is not my problem. Today we have a minister that's quoting Mr. Ramaphosa, who laments the state of our water infrastructure as if he were some shocked visitor. You know, he's always shocked about things. You cannot lament a crisis that you created. You are the architects. You are the architects of this disaster. You are like the arsonist that's now crying about the fire. So you started the fire and now you complain about the fire. Minister, you hide behind the Constitution and the Water Services Act. You're telling municipalities that they are responsible for bringing water to the taps. But let me educate you on your own mandate. You see the Constitution, Schedule 4, Part B. It may assign water supply services to local government, but Section 1557 explicitly says national and provincial governments must support and strengthen municipalities to manage and execute their functions. Moreover, Section 3 of the Water Services Act, number 108 of 1997, guarantees that every person has the right to access basic water supply and sanitation. And who is responsible for ensuring this right? You, Honorable Minister, and your department. Your department's own APPs and budget frameworks talk about providing direct support to municipalities. You talk about conditional grants, capacity building, and emergency interventions. But when communities are crying out, you're pointing fingers and saying, it's not my problem. Huh? How do you go in the elections, local government elections or national elections, to the same communities that you are saying, it's not my problem to, and go and ask them to support you? They're not going to support you. Salt Plaquemines municipality that we spoke about today, just this morning, I got calls from that municipality. They haven't had water for 3 weeks. And you talk about producing 21 megaliters of water to Salt Plaquemines. What is that? Where are you living in Cuckoo land? When municipalities fail because of cadre deployment, corruption, and underfunding, you are duty-bound to intervene. You cannot wash your hands like Pontius Pilate and say it is not my job. It's not my problem. Our people do not drink constitutional clauses or fancy policy papers. They want water in their taps, safe and reliable. They want sanitation that works. The president's crocodile tears and your selective constitutional lectures are nothing but political theater. We have seen enough of this. We reject this budget because it entrenches mediocrity. It rewards failure and continues to pour billions into projects that never deliver. Communities are dying. The one ANC member here spoke about bucket eradication. Show me one bucket eradication, a program that has been completed. Absolutely nothing. And yet billions are being poured into this. Minister, the Constitution is not your shield. It is your marching order. Until you and your president stop playing blame games and start delivering, your lamentations will remain hollow echoes in a thirsty land. Now, I'll be failing in my duty if I didn't go to what MK Party will do when we take over. Do you know what we're going to do? We're going to collapse all these water boards. We'll have only 9 provincial water boards. Do you know that this department paid one water irrigation scheme board 1.4 billion rands this year in February for a project that has not even started? And you didn't even blink an eyelid. Minister, this is not about bad governance. It's also a betrayal of the Freedom Charter. The Freedom Charter declared the people shall share in the country's wealth and promised housing and security for all. As MK Party, we don't just talk, we act. That's why we tabled the Water Services Amendment Bill to abolish wasteful catchment management agencies. We want to stop the private dam ownership. We want to guarantee only 9 water boards. We want to keep water under public democratic control forever. Under an MK government, we will declare a national state of emergency. We will not act like there is no crisis. We will create a centralized procurement system. We will ring-fence water budgets. We will build desalination plants. We will deploy functional water boards and municipalities to fix infrastructure. We will prosecute corrupt officials and we will blacklist tender fraudsters. MK stands with the people. We stand with every mother that's spending a last rand on water. We stand with every child carrying buckets instead of books. We stand with every community forced to beg for their basic human rights. We will fight in this house. We'll fight in the courts. We'll fight on the streets until every tap runs and every toilet flushes. Amandla!
The next speaker, order. The next speaker is the Honorable Mbiko. Order, honorable members. The next speaker is the Honorable Mbiko. Order, honorable members. Order.
Mandibulele sihlalo, sihlalo ngaphambili, and good afternoon, members. Lo uthethayo nguMadlamini uJama kaSijadu, onkaba yakhe isedutywa kwisithili saseGwadane phantsi komasipala waseMbashe e-Eastern Cape. Ndime kweli qonga ngokuthunywa ngabavoti beDemocratic Alliance. Uninzi lwabo ingooqhiyankulu abangazange balubeka unyawo lwabo esikolweni. Kodwa bazinqanelwe inkonzo ezivela kurhulumente. Chairperson, before the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals were formally launched in 2015, which the DA bases its socio-economic policies on, the UN had long urged countries to not just treat water and sanitation provision as mere governance exercise, but to focus on the potential of unlocking opportunities and providing human dignity. Sadly, the Department of Water and Sanitation in successive administration has not heeded this plea, as the rural communities in South Africa continue to live without clean water and access to sanitation. Uluntu lwaseMnquma local municipality alunamanzi eGcuwa, kwidami laseGcuwa linomthamo omncinci kuba ligcwele isanti ngaphantsi. Loo nto yenza ukuba likhawuleze ligcwale liphuphume xa kunetha. Abahlali bacela ukuba kugutyulwe le santi kweli dami. Owayesakuba ngumphathiswa wamanzi nogutyulo umama uLindiwe Sisulu sesuka kuzibonela eli dami. Wemka ethembisile ukuba uzawulakha alonyuse udonga lwedami khona ukuze libe nomthamo othe xaxa. Ukuba idolophu yaseGcuwa neelali ezikufutshane zixhomekeke kweli dami. Uluntu lwaseMnquma lusajonge enkalweni ke lilinde ukuza kukaNcele. Le ngxaki yokungabikho kwamanzi ayiphelelanga nje eMnquma. Nabantu basemakhanda sebeneminyaka bekhalazela amanzi angekhoyo. Uya ukukhumbula ke mhlali ngaphambili ukuba iRose University ne-Eastern Cape High Court zisemakhanda nazo ziyachaphazeleka kukungabikho kwamanzi. Rose University accounts for the majority of Makhanda's GDP. Until there is an adequate supply of water, the town's economy will never grow to deliver necessary jobs. While water tanking has been introduced by the local municipalities to provide temporary or emergency water supply to areas experiencing water outages, it has been plagued by many challenges, and this has led to the now known as the water truck mafia. In St. John's, water scheme ekwilali yaseGqubeni kuwa 12 yaqala ukwakhiwa ngo-2003 ayikagqitywa nangoku. Sekuphele iminyaka engamashumi 20 urhulumente efaka imali kule project, kodwa akukho ziphumo ezincomekayo. Chairperson, where the DA governs, we have shown that we can deliver quality services. In Overstrand in Western Cape, it has the best drinking water in the country, having obtained 99% on its blood drop assessment, as well as 101% in the lowest rate of water losses. Why not the rest of South Africa? It can be done, not overnight, but we can ensure quality and sanitation to all of our 60 million people of this country. Intshontsho lerhamba lifundisa ngunina ukufutha. Ukuba ngaba urhulumente kazwelonke urhuqa izithende akagxanye ukusa inkonzo ebantwini, kuzawuba njalo ukugqithisa kwaba bancinci urhulumente nabo barhuqe inyawo bekopa kurhulumente okwazwelonke. Access to water and sanitation is a fundamental human right in our Bill of Rights. It is paramount to health and dignity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The next speaker is the Honorable Kaula.
Ya papa. Hayi ngikwazi ukusupport. Ngibingelele uPresident wami Julius Malema. Siyanmema ngomhla ka-26 la eKhayelisha, ngiyabonga. Bye ke lapho ngene emndabeni engize ngayo. Ngoba nina ndifuna ukubukela ngezithombe. Hey ngicela nithule. Niyabona la? Ise 106 Waterloo. Akhona amamitha amanzi anqanyuliwe because ngoba kufanele kuba amathenda ama-truck azofakela amanzi. Ngikhuluma nani nje nani ezigebengu ndini. Lana.
Honorable members, honorable members, honorable members, Honorable Kaula, honorable members, the member has the right to make a speech.
Oh.
Your party will get an opportunity, if they haven't already had one, to make a speech. Let's respect one another, please. Please continue.
Uyabona la ise Freihead Chairperson. Abantu babekhala bevale umgwaqo bekhalela amanzi. Instead ukuthi aye umeya bayolalela ikhalo zabantu bathumela amaphoyisa badubula abantu. Ngiyangizwa uthi ngithini? Nasikhathi sokudala mina. La is a Ward 59. Endwedwe chair. Bafaka i-water pump. Bafaka nama-content kube bethembisa abantu lezi gebengu lezi. Bethi bazobafakela amanzi. 5 years okasithi lo nyaka. Abakaze babuyela abantu balamanzi abanawo. Sengithuleke ngena emxholeni ke manje. Lana sinenkinga yabantu okutholakala ukuthi bashonile ngenxa yokuthi baphuza amanzi angcolile aphuzwa nezilwane. Manifuna ukwazi ukuthi kuphi nendawo abafuni ukusitshela. Umbuzo wami uthi lemphefumulo eshonile izobuyiselwa kanjani kubantu? Eyikoleni sinenkinga minister nawe chair. Eyikoleni zonke azinawo amanzi. Ehothela esikole khona amanzi awekho. eThekwini yes. Lezi ikole kuthiwa ayikwazi ukufakelwa womasipala amanzi ngoba ziya-owa umngeni water. Manje umbuzo uthi ingane kuthiwa zona kayifunde kanjani, bona othisha abafundise kanjani. Okwesibili kubhlungu kunakho konke, amanzi ayimpilo. Lento yama-waterkan iyona eyinkinga kakhulu ngoba amanzi hayi ngoba engekho, amanzi akhona ayanqanyulwa ngoba kwenzelwani kungenela ama-truck. Kuyimanje kunama-truck lapha amasha ceke. Lo 26 billion enikhuluma ngawo namanikinika ngaphandle. Bajabule bafile bazohamba bayothenga ini amanzi lana eMbasha amanzi awekho, eNgamanga amanzi awekho, Giyani amanzi awekho. Why ngempela izwe lonke libe nenkinga efanayo? Aniboni ngani ukuthi le nto yamabomu ngenxa yethenda? Thina sifika la eParliament ngo-2024 safika nepolicy ethi lento yamathenda ayiphele ngoba iwona kanye ayenza ukuthi abantu bangayitholi idingo zabo ngoba kuceba abantu abayifew bese kuthi ekugcineni kusafarisha abantu. Lento ibuhlungu and minister ngiphinde ngiphatheke kabuhlungu ngoba mawuminister ungena kwi-department ekade nomunye umuntu akube kusashiya ukuthi lowo mina ngathi why umuntu manje ayenze ubugebengu kwi-position yakwi-department yakhe engalandwa abuye azojeziswa. So boshwa nini laba bantu okuyibona abantu abaxhaphaza izimali zabantu na? And lento ingiphatha kambi ngoba sigcina la sesidlala abantu la laba bantu kuneyingane egulayo lana. Eyimililo ndingane ziyadlala ayinendaba ukuthi indle. Manje singazokhothesana lana. Mina yanginyanyisa indaba yenu ngize ngifisa ukuthi aphathe induku nje vele ishaye nonke. Ngoba nina ngicabanga ukuthi kuzodlalwa lana. Emaklinik udokotela mayikade thinta isiguli
Chair,
akakwazi udokotela ukuwelela kwesinye isiguli engasihlambanga izandla.
no point of order, Chair.
Ize engekho nithi abantu balashwa.
Xolo Makhawula, xolo mama.
On a
Chair,
point of
Honorable
order. Chair.
Kaula, will you just take your seat, please?
We can't allow this thing that is happening. Honorable Maduna just opened the mic and howled.
No. Honorable Maduna,
He please be removed from the house.
no, no.
Honorable Maduna, the young one
Order.
there at the back.
Order, honorable member, switch off your microphone now. Honorable Maduna, you drew my attention to what?
I just, Chair, I said on a point of order. That's what
I didn't, no. Order, honorable
It's a-
members, order. I didn't hear that. But what is your point of order?
Chair, I want to check, is Nyanyisa parliamentary?
We'll check on it, honorable member, and we'll come back. No, honorable members, settle down. Honorable Kaula, will you now complete your speech? I'll come back to you.
Ngiyabonga Chair. Kodwa ke ngicela ningabanaki labantu abaye emphakathini. Ababambi ngisho ingcingo laba. Lalelani ke emakhaya kunento ebuhlungu eyenzekalayo. Yingakho ngeke ngithi kuyi-portfolio committee lento okuhlala la lo debate into engathi shu. Asambeni siyobona. Emakhaya ngikutshela ukuthi ngeke nikholwe uthi uma uhamba emgwaqweni ubone imigqomo imphongolo ihleli kanje. Ilinde itruck ezofika ebusuku. Ithela amanzi kwamaphumulo emthandeni bengikhona.
Honorable member, your time is now expired. Thank you.
Asizwana nabantu laba.
Order, honorable members,
Wena.
your time is expired. Thank you.
Uyazi
Thank
umkhwanazi.
you, honorable member.
Phambili umkhwanazi baba.
Honorable Kaula. Honorable member,
Umkhwanazi.
honorable member, take your seat.
Support umkhwanazi. We are sick and tired.
Honorable Kaula. Honorable Kaula. No. When you are told your time is up, your time is up. Yeah, please take your seat now. The next speaker is the Honorable Adebe. All honorable members.
Thank you. House Chairperson, the Honorable Minister, while we welcome the 46.6 billion allocated for 25-26 financial year, we are deeply concerned about the widening gap between infrastructure development needs and actual budget availability. The department acknowledges that over 80 billion is required for mega infrastructure projects, yet only 2.4 billion is available, less than 3% of what is needed. At this rate, it will take decades to address current backlogs. We note the Section 63 interventions underway in areas such as Hammanskraal, Machabeng, Maluti Apofong, and Umkhanyagude. We commend these efforts, but we call for clear timelines, availability, accountability mechanisms, and community engagement in these interventions. The continued reliance on surface water is unsustainable. We support the department's initiatives to diversify the water mix, but these efforts must be fast-tracked. While the department has done well to curb under expenditure, with just 0.1% underspent in 24-25, we are concerned that Program 3, Water Service Management, suffered a budget decrease of 796 million this year. This program should be the backbone of service delivery and prioritized accordingly. We must also raise the ongoing issue of municipal debt to water boards. This poses a severe risk to the viability of the sector. While we support the Treasury's consideration to withhold a portion of the equitable share from defaulting municipalities, this must be implemented with fairness and transparency. The blue and green drop reports serve as a vital diagnostic tool for the sector. These reports highlight serious challenges in the quality of drinking water and the state of wastewater treatment across the country. What is clear is that many systems are under pressure, often due to aging infrastructure, limited technical capacity, and increased demand. Instead of pointing fingers, we must see this as a call to action for coordinated support. NgesiZulu, uma ukhuluma njalo siye sithi wafelwa inkezo emlonyeni. We urge the department to use these reports not just as an assessment mechanisms, but as a roadmap for targeted investment, capacity building and sustainable partnership, particularly in vulnerable and under-resourced areas. As the IFP, we want to emphasize the need for this department to prioritize water infrastructure maintenance as much as it invests in water infrastructure development. We are of the belief that majority of the water-related challenges our country faces is due to ailing water infrastructure that simply needs large-scale maintenance using modern material. On a positive note, we welcome the department's plans to complete 42 regional bulk infrastructure projects and create 580 job opportunities during the year under review. We also support the prioritization of the projects such as the Clan William Dam, Umzimvubu Water Project, and Umkomazi Water Project, all of which have the potential to unlock economic development and enhance rural water access. We support this budget vote, and we expect a rigorous implementation and oversight and responsiveness from the department. Water must not only flow through pipes, it must flow through every corner of our policy consciousness. We call for a water secure South Africa, one where every community, urban and rural, has reliable access to safe water and dignified sanitation. We urge the department to prioritize rural development and restore decaying infrastructure. Lastly, Honorable Chairperson, I know that the process through which many of you are brought here is to brainwash you to believe that you have never been to this house.
Honorable Member, your time
I
is
want to
expired.
tell you,
Thank you.
you once ruled, you once presided
Honorable
over
Member,
this
your
house.
time is now
Thank you.
expired. Thank you. The next speaker is the Honorable Matopa. Who wants to be recognized? Order. Honorable Matopa, will you just take your seat, please?
Ngikhohli ukuthi ngiyayirejecta le budget.
Thank you. Honorable members. Honorable members. Order, honorable members. Order. Order, honorable members. Order. No, I'll request the whips of the EFF to explain to the Honorable Kaula that the entire speech was focused on that. So what she said is not a surprise. The next speaker may now continue. Honorable Matopa.
Sanbonani, Honorable House Chair, Honorable Members, Minister, ndiyabulela ngomsebenzi owenziweyo thus far. Uqinisile okokuba omasipala ngomsebenzi wabo ukuthi amanzi afikelele kwezi tap zethu ezindlini zethu. Kodwa you oversee and is accountable for the department according to the government policies. Water is not a privilege. It is a fundamental right enshrined in our constitution. Sanitation is not a luxury. It is the foundation of human dignity. On behalf of the Patriotic Alliance, we support the budget vote 41, but we demand accountability As part of the government of the national unity, we insist that the promises made in the 2025 State of the Nation address regarding water and sanitation must be upheld. The people of South Africa can no longer endure broken promises, broken pipes, and broken pipes. Our nation is not poor in water, it is poor in leadership. While administrative failures persist, nearly half of our water infrastructure is on the brink of collapse due to mismanagement. Millions still lack daily access to clean water. Pit and bucket toilets, a relic of apartheid indignity, remain in schools, clinics, and informal settlements. This is not just service delivery failure, it is a violation of justice, and under this GNU, we refuse to accept this as normal. The Patriotic Alliance mandate, delivery without compromise. We will not endorse a budget that prioritizes paper over people. The 139 billion allocated for strategic water infrastructure must be free from corruption, every rent accounted for, every project transparent, a catalyst for jobs ensuring promised employment opportunities materialize for our people, closely monitored with zero tolerance for under expenditure, wasteful spending, or mismanagement. We know that the priorities identified in the report, but we wish that strict discipline and monitoring measures shall be in place, ensuring that these priorities be achieved. Seeing that water supply and sanitation services are a function over which municipalities have executive authority, we call on the Minister of Cocta to intervene. Where there is failure of municipality water and sanitation services, we call on the Minister to enforce strict oversight, ensuring that emergency interventions are prioritized, a public real-time dashboard tracking infrastructure failure and repairs, rapid response teams deployed to crisis-hit municipalities, climate resilient solutions, including rainwater harvesting and grey water recycling integrated into new developments. Consequence management is not negotiable. Performance-based contracts for officials, failure to deliver must have consequences. Swift legal action against corruption, not endless pending investigations. And independent water ombudsman to hold government accountable. Transformation and inclusion must accelerate. The slow pace of change in water management perpetuates inequality. Historical disadvantaged individuals and communities must benefit from jobs, skills, and contracts.
Honorable Member, your time is now expired.
We support
Thank you.
this budget. Ndiyabulela.
The next speaker is the Honorable Wessels.
Dankie agbare huisvoorsitter. Huisvoorsitter, daar is 'n groot krisis op die horison. Daar is groot moeilikheid op die horison. En Suid-Afrika is 'n waterskaars land met baie gebiede wat weens klimaatsverandering al hoe meer woestynagtig word. Gegeewe dit en te midde daardie krisis is daar terselfdertyd met hierdie meerjarige droogtes is daar dan ook klomp lekkasies, water wat net verlore gaan. Die skaars water wat net wegraak en wegsuiver weens swak instandhouding veral op munisipale vlak uit die aard van die saak. Dis korrek agbare Reddy, amper 40% van ons water gaan verlore as gevolg van lekkasies. En dan is daar meer as
Yes, Honorable Member, why do you want to be recognized?
Yes, could you please tell the translators to assist us because we are hardly hearing what the honorable member is saying.
Yes, thank you. May I ask the any table to attend to the matter immediately, please? You may proceed, honorable vessels.
Dankie, agbare huisvoorsitter. Dan is daar uit die aard van die saak ook ons water riool aanlegte, suiweringsaanlegte wat nie funksioneer nie. En dit besoedel en veroorsaak dat rou riool in ons waterbronne inloop. The minister is correct that municipalities and the failures of local government is responsible for this. They have the failure and they are to blame for the failures. They are irresponsible, they don't act when there's non-compliance, and they just don't care about the livelihoods and the health and safety of their residents. But the Honourable Reddy is also correct that even if it is the failure of local government, it is the problem of the National Department because it's all of our problem. It is a collective problem because one day in the very near future, if we don't act now and act innovatively and really act to solve this crisis and to plan ahead to address our water scarcities and our water losses, we will have a complete day zero. It won't be limited to one town as it is now or to a few towns. It will be the whole South Africa. And if members thought that load shedding created a lot of problems and a lot of economic turmoil, complete scarcity and a complete day zero in terms of water will have dire and a complete negative impact on everybody. We need to act now. And that is also why, Honourable House Chairperson, it is unacceptable that the Lesotho Highland scheme is still not finished and that there's no transparency with regards to the money spent and the timelines and all the working that is taking place there. That scheme is necessary to save especially Gauteng from a day zero. If that does not happen, and that's why almost 14 years ago, the planning was for that scheme to take place and the investment was done. More needs to be done. More needs to be done with less. And I want to repeat the call that I made to the Minister last year. Minister, yes, municipal officials transgress, but be the one that go to the police station.
Honourable Member,
and
your
go
time is now
and
expired.
lay criminal charges against them. I thank you.
The next speaker is the Honourable Kobe.
Thank you, House Chairperson. House Chair, ActionSA rises in support of Budget Vote 41 on water and sanitation. Wait, our support is rooted in critical assessment of the department's performance over the past year and the impact of the ministry's work on the lives of ordinary South Africans. South Africa is at the precipice of a deepening water crisis, with communities across the country experiencing ongoing shortages. At the heart of this crisis lies aging infrastructure and ineffective municipalities, resulting in the loss of 47% of our water due to water leaks, illegal connections, and poor management. The department has allocated 14.9 billion in the 2025-2026 financial year to improve strategic infrastructure such as dams and bulk pipelines. While this constitutes 56% of the overall departmental budget, it reflects a real decrease of 796 million rand. This reduction, we are afraid, will inevitably delay critical projects and undermine service delivery. Equally worrying is the skills deficit across water service authorities. A lack of technical expertise and weak process controls continues to cripple performance. Reform is essential to ensure that municipality water services are professionally managed and financially sustainable. We urge that significant investment be made in capacitating water service authorities with the necessary skills. 3 weeks ago, alongside Deputy Minister Sikhulu, who in the spirit of accountability and transparency invited us on an oversight visit to Mogalakwena municipality. We witnessed firsthand there the impact of poorly managed and capacitated water service authorities. This municipality sitting at a vacancy rate of 36%, in the water department, it is unable to comply with even the most basic water and sanitation standards and provide reliable water supply to its community despite an 85% collection rate from residents, businesses, and mines. Political appointments have become the order of the day in this municipality, with former teachers and other civil servants being rewarded with jobs in a highly technical sector. This undermines service delivery. Sadly, this is not an isolated case. Over 100 water service authorities across the country face similar dysfunction. Minister, we welcome the department's plan to intervene and provide support to these municipalities to ensure continued service delivery. We also welcome the commitment to implement the Portfolio Committee's recommendation to withhold equitable share from defaulting municipalities, compelling them to settle their debts to water boards. This signals a shift towards accountability and reform. As ActionSA, we believe that turning this crisis around requires strong leadership, political will, proper oversight, and effective legislation, qualities this department has begun to show. Minister, we look forward to the finalization of the Water Services Amendment Bill, which we believe will strengthen accountability and end the ineffective intergovernmental practices that have plagued service delivery. The work is far from over, Minister. Even with these registered victories, we still have a long way to go. But working with municipalities like the city of Tshwane, which has fully paid its debt to the water boards and by and large capacitated its water department with skilled technocrats and invested significantly in its infrastructure, we can continue to have good stories to tell in our communities. ActionSA supports this budget.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Before I call the next speaker, I just want to make the following ruling. There was a point of order earlier about this. Honourable Member, I'm busy addressing the House. Honourable Member, I'm busy addressing the House. According to the rules, you must listen. There was a point of order that was raised earlier about a particular word that was used by the Honourable Kaula. The procedural advice I received is as follows. The word used is interpreted as, and I quote, disgusting. The Honourable Member did not say any specific person in the House is disgusting, but referred to a situation pertaining to service delivery. The Honourable Member is thus not out of order. I now recognize the Honourable Deputy Minister, Titlolo.
Honorable House Chairperson, Honorable Minister Phemi Majudina, Honorable Deputy Minister Mahlobo, the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, Mr. Leon Basson, Honorable Members of Parliament, the Director General and Managers of the Department of Water and Sanitation, fellow South Africans. One of the most fundamental truths we must agree upon as leaders of the 7th administration is that we cannot fix South Africa unless we fix municipalities. From roads to energy to water and sanitation, nothing will work unless we agree to urgently arrest the decline of municipalities. The high level of non-revenue water in municipalities, coupled with the fact that there is no legal obligation for municipalities to use revenue from the sale of water for the water function, has resulted in some municipalities failing to pay their invoices to water boards, as honorable members have already indicated. By the end of February 2025, the total debt owed by municipalities to the water boards stood at 24 billion, including interests for long outstanding debt. We reported to Parliament that this situation posed a grave risk to the financial sustainability of the whole water value chain, as the Minister indicated, highlighting Val Central as well as Magalies Water. It is a risk, Honourable House Chairperson, that has to be mitigated urgently and with determination. As the minister indicated in the budget speech last year, to address this, the department and the water boards put in place strengthened and standardized debt collection processes. She also indicated that one of our immediate priorities would be to work collaboratively with the colleagues in cabinet, particularly the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, to find sustainable solutions. This has been done. During the past financial year, we obtained National Treasury agreement to withhold the equitable share of municipalities which refuse to pay their current invoices to water boards in full. The withholding of equitable share allocations is only implemented as a last resort when all other measures to encourage municipalities to pay their current invoices in full have failed. It is an undesirable measure, but a necessary one, in order to protect the water sector as a whole. I must pause here, Honorable Chairperson, to indicate that the collapse of the water sector would have far-reaching ramifications for our national security as well as our economy. Therefore, every possible measure must be taken to protect the stability and viability of the sector. On the request of the department, National Treasury started to withhold the equitable share allocations of 12 municipalities since December last year, and this is starting to have a positive impact on the finances of the relevant water boards. This withholding of equitable share allocations will continue until the worst-paying municipalities regularly pay their current invoices to the water boards in full. At the end of the last financial year, we also obtained the approval of National Treasury for a debt write-off mechanism for the long outstanding debts owed by municipalities to the water boards. All the water boards have been informed of this mechanism and the required processes to implement it, and some of the water boards will start implementing this in this current financial year. While these efforts are crucial, it is critical to work together towards strengthening the regulation of the water sector overall. Honorable House Chairperson, my role within the department has been to oversee regulation, compliance, and enforcement in terms of the management of pollution of our water resources. I have since traveled to 8 provinces and over 30 municipalities to assess the state of water pollution in our country. What we witnessed is nothing short of a crisis. Water pollution is a silent epidemic, a colossal iceberg lurking beneath the surface, threatening to plunge us into a disaster if we do not change course. It affects the entire water value chain, increasing the risk of waterborne diseases and driving up the cost of treating water to meet drinking standards. This crisis jeopardizes food security and undermines our tourism industry, impacting the livelihoods of countless South Africans. We cannot ignore the stark reality that pollution has made many of our dams less profitable for recreation and tourism. The Hartbeespoort Dam, a once vibrant destination, now suffers from pollution that deters visitors. Similarly, the closure of beaches in eThekwini municipality due to high E. coli levels from untreated wastewater has severely impacted the travel and tourism sector, stifling economic growth and job creation. We must unite and act urgently to confront the water pollution crisis. Regulatory responses require collaboration among various government departments, the private sector, stakeholders, and citizens. We have, for example, launched the Vaal River Anti-Pollution Forum to improve the health of this critical river system through a collaborative approach. We are working hard towards publishing a polluters register to hold individuals accountable for their role in polluting our water resources. Additionally, we are committed to establishing an independent water regulator and implementing key measures through the Water Services Amendment Bill and the National Water Amendment Bill to enhance regulation across the sector. We must continue to work together, united in our efforts to build a thriving economy that creates jobs for all South Africans. Together, we can turn the tide and ensure a sustainable future for our water resources and our communities. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The next speaker will be the Honorable Meshwe.
Okay. Honorable Chairperson, the ACDP acknowledges the progress made in expanding access to piped water since 1994. Yet water security remains a pipe dream for millions. We have long warned that drought is not our greatest threat. Systemic failure is. In 2022, nearly 50% of water purchased by municipalities was lost to leaks, theft, and decaying infrastructure. This is not merely inefficiency, it is negligence. Expenditure under this vote is projected to rise only by an annual rate of 11.9% from 23.9 billion rands in 2024-25 to 26.7 billion rands in 2025-26. The ACDP supports the intent behind the National Water and Sanitation Master Plan. However, the plan is being undermined by criminal actors, water tank mafias, who allegedly sabotage infrastructure for gain. This criminality must be prioritized by law enforcement and eradicated with urgency. Chairperson, water is life. Without decisive and sustained reform, our infrastructure will not just erode, it will collapse, dragging us back over 100 years. The president declared water an emergency at the 2025 Water and Sanitation in Daba. Yet his declaration rings hollow when 105 of 144 water service authorities remain in crisis. South Africa continues to reject repeated offers of technology from Israel, renowned for its innovative water solutions, including desalination and water reuse. Since 2016, these offers have been rejected not for technical reasons, but for political ideology, at the cost of collapsing municipal water systems. The ACDP urges the department to embrace proven global technologies, pipebots, mini robots that inspect and repair live pipelines internally, AI-driven leak detection systems, and cured-in-place pipe technology, which restores pipelines without excavation. And of that water we do receive, the 2024 Blue Drop report reveals that nearly half our drinking water systems are unsafe, an alarming public health risk and a grave constitutional failure. Urgent investment is needed in desalination, agricultural wastewater recycling, and rainwater harvesting. Licensing of water service provider.
Thank you, Honorable Muruti.
Thank you. Thank you.
The next speaker will be the Honorable Shazo Webster.
Thank you, Chairperson. I think we must all admit that an idea of a water crisis at the scale of the energy challenges that we faced with ESCOM and load shedding is inconceivable. We can't afford it as a country, economically, but more than anything, it would threaten the dignity of so many South Africans, which is already in the works as we speak now. South Africa's water infrastructure is crumbling. We face the collapse of water boards, and it's a deepening crisis. But despite the urgent need, the allocated budget remains insufficient, Minister. The Minister recently disclosed that the department requires 89.9 billion over the next decade just to clear the infrastructure backlog. And that's not about new planned infrastructure. We're talking about refurbishments, upgrades, and new builds to meet the growing demand. And when you look at the 2025-26 budget, we're not seeing those values, and that risks further deterioration. The audit outcomes for the past year are also deeply concerning, with over 747 of 5,453 targeted water supply projects completed, and that's only 13%. Bucket sanitation projects, less than 6% of their targets, and dam rehabilitation almost entirely neglected. So it was good, Minister, to hear about the progress that we're starting to see when it comes to the dams. We do have to note that a lot of this that we see is aided and abetted by corruption, and that continues to plague sanitation tenders, water maintenance, and reticulation projects. The department itself admits the core hurdles, which are poor maintenance, recurring droughts driven by climate change,
inequitable access and declining water quality, and a shortage of skilled engineers. But this analysis is not enough, especially if we don't get to the root cause of corruption in the department. As Build One South Africa, we call for a significant investment in infrastructure maintenance, merit-based appointments of qualified engineers and leaders to water sector authorities, ensuring that we have skilled leadership, and a development of localized wastewater treatment for community and businesses, paired with training and capacity building. So we put that power back into communities. And of course, the acceleration of the construction of new dams and the improvement of those that already exist. Finally, as Build One South Africa, we initiated litigation against water shedding in hospitals and schools, and we are proceeding with that because we condemn water cuts to these institutions. They are unconstitutional and deeply, deeply harmful. Our courts will be asked to compel municipalities and the departments to ensure that these institutions have water. I thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't see anyone from Al-Jama. The next speaker will be the Honorable Mo.
Technology is fighting me, sorry. Honorable Chair, Honorable Minister, Honorable Deputy Ministers, Honorable Members and fellow South Africans, water crises across South Africa describe the country inherited by the 7th Parliament. For years, hard-earned taxpayer funds have funneled through broken infrastructure only to leak into the hands of the undeserving. The 7th Parliament inherits a country where water and sanitation, essential to dignity and development, have become luxuries in one of the most unequal nations on earth. Should we not have changed this, colleagues, when we next rise to face the electorate again, voters will not be kind to us. Water and sanitation are more than the sustenance of life. They underpin our entire socio-economy. Every dry tap means a business not open, workers not earning, patients denied the dignity of hygiene. Every sewage spill is a community that cannot enjoy its environment, where residents cannot even leave their homes. In the past year, we have seen setbacks and progress. We face a choice: tolerate failure or commit to rebuilding services that work. We can live in a country where politicians fold their arms in resignation, pointing fingers, or one where public service lives up to its name. Describing our water services as self-inflicted by municipalities, as the minister has, we need to see them enforcing consequence management. And if you are accused of nefariousness, you belong nowhere near public resources. Years of neglect and municipal failure have eroded our infrastructure. Water supply reliability stands only at 68%, and almost half of our wastewater systems are in critical condition. Municipal debt to water boards has passed 24 billion rand, threatening the institutions that provide bulk water to millions. This collapse could devastate communities and sabotage growth. If we continue down this path, our country will become more unequal and less prosperous. But there is another path where we confront crises directly. An example is, as mentioned earlier, the Vaal River Anti-Pollution Forum launched by Deputy Minister Satlolo. This was not a symbolic gesture. It was a clear intervention to rescue a critical water resource. The Vaal has been degraded by years of sewage spills and weak enforcement. Now 16 catchment forums are being unified into a single platform that brings together municipalities, industries, civil society, and regulators to coordinate action, monitor polluters, and restore accountability. The DA welcomes this initiative. More than that, we support the deputy minister's message from his speech earlier. Unless local governments get their houses in order, our national efforts will fall short. Minister, you said the same. We applaud the Portfolio Committee on Water and Sanitation, led by Leon Basson, for driving collaboration between National Treasury, COGTA, and the Department of Water and Sanitation. This multi-departmental coordination has led to decisive action. Municipalities that pay their bulk water bills, or that failed to pay their bulk water bills, are facing real consequences. And because of this, Magalies Water and Vaal Central Water Boards were saved from collapse. Equitable share allocations have been withheld where necessary, but this kind of joint action is what we need to preserve service delivery and protect jobs. We are further encouraged by the department's decision to appoint water boards like Vaal Central Water Board to assist municipalities like Maluti Apafong and Machabeng. These municipalities were in freefall, but now through targeted interventions, 5.4 billion rand in projects will now upgrade water and sanitation infrastructure. This means jobs in construction, improved reliability for residents, and a foundation for investment in fragile towns. In Giyani, we have seen how we can turn around the wrongs of corruption. The bulk pipeline from Nandoni Dam to Giyani was completed last year, and the people are finally seeing progress. It shows that persistence and oversight can overcome failure. We trust that the SIU and law enforcement will hold those responsible to account. And while the DA remains concerned about delays to departmental mega infrastructure projects like the Lesotho Highlands project, if done right, these projects hold enormous potential. Projects like the Lesotho Highlands project, Olifants River, and Umkomazi Dam represent, amongst others, 139 billion rand in investment and are expected to create 20,000 construction jobs and 14,000 operational jobs. These are not just engineering feats, they are economic catalysts if done right. Honorable members, we all acknowledge the big challenge in our sector is not at a national level. There are problems, but we are working. It is at the municipal level. So I must say that we have seen that where the DA governs, we show what is possible where infrastructure is maintained and forward planning is respected. In Cape Town, pipe bursts have fallen by 55% over the past decade due to consistent preventative maintenance. In Witstrand, the DA-led government built South Africa's first reverse osmosis solar-powered desalination plant, producing 140 kiloliters per day. And in Nelson Mandela Bay, DA-led governance drove down water losses and expanded borehole networks during drought. These successes are not partisan victories. They are national examples of what can be achieved with accountability, professionalism, and innovation. The DA is committed to sharing these models and to working across government to get things right. But there is more to do. Water boards remain under strain. The infrastructure backlog, estimated at over 80 billion rand, cannot be closed without new funding models. Many municipalities are still unable or unwilling to collect revenue, manage staff, or maintain basic assets. And that is why we are eager to engage, Madam Minister, with the department's proposed amendments to the Water Services Act to push for performance-based utility models and to enable firmer intervention when municipalities collapse. Chairperson, if we stay the course, we can rescue South Africa's water sector. We can make clean, reliable water the norm. We can restore faith in government. But that will require consistent oversight, honest leadership, and political will. The DA stands ready to support any initiative that brings dignity to our people and unlocks jobs and growth. The signs of progress are real, but the road ahead is still long. Let us walk it together. I thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker will be Honorable Bihakilwe.
Bishop, okay. The ANC-led government guarantees fully functional, capable, and active water and sanitation institutions, water delivery quality, basic services to all South Africans, as enshrined in our progressive and right-based democratic constitution. House Chairperson, Honorable Minister Pimi Majodina, Deputy Ministers, Mr. David Matlobo, and Mr. Selosi Tlolo, honorable members, the African National Congress in this August House wishes to declare its support for the budget vote as tabled by the Minister for Water and Sanitation. We recognize the challenges facing the water and sanitation sector, which includes, among others, the need to increase funding and the restoration of functionality for, among others, the need functionality for the Water Services Authority to operate effectively and provide water and sanitation services as per department's norms and standards. However, we are confident in the budget and the department plans, and in particular, the commitment by the ANC-led government to prioritize restoring the functionality while also building the capacity and the capabilities of public entities to deliver on the mandate of providing quality basic services to all South Africans. The ANC acknowledges the department's efforts to match the water trading entity and the Trans-Caledon Tunnel Authority, paving the way for the creation of the National Water Resources Infrastructure Agency. This agency will function as a crucial tool to stimulate significantly more investment in water projects, encompassing financing and investment in raw water infrastructure projects. As the ANC in this August House, we will ensure that the establishment is completed as per time frame announced by the President Ramaphosa. As a country, we need this important public entity in the water and sanitation sector, not only to drive infrastructure development, but also to achieve the government's strategic objective of eradicating poverty and ensuring sustainable and equitable development, which includes promoting fundamental transformation of the water sector. Honorable Chairperson, as part of steps towards the transformation of the water sector, the department is in the process to amend the National Water Act as a mechanism to provide for the equitable and sustainable use and protection of water resources for the current generation, while also making sure water security and future generation is also achieved. As an organization dedicated to social justice, the ANC-led government welcomes the legislative reforms to ensure the prohibition of discrimination and redress by allocating trading licenses for water to historically disadvantaged households and communities. As ANC, we have prioritized improving Water Service Authority to better serve their communities. We support the proposed amendments to the National Water Services Act because they provide for legal requirements such as licenses, for licenses for water services authorities to operate. You behave like one, not like an honorable member. And if they fail to meet the requirement standards, the license will be withdrawn. In addition, the amendments provides for a mechanism to enforce compliance with sanitation regulations and the consequence thereof. These steps are basis for our support for the budget vote to fix water services to better our service to our people. Honorable Chairperson, we must congratulate the department for successfully reducing their under expenditure from 2.5 billion during 2021-2022, and then 2022-2023, it was then reduced to 860 million, and then to 44 million in 2023-2024, And in the previous financial year to less than 0.1%. We must congratulate the department. They are busy dealing with this. This is clear demonstration of the ANC commitment towards improved financial management and audit outcomes. As the ANC, we wish to encourage the departments to focus on improving the quality of spending on water and sanitation grants, while also advocating for a review for a local government funding model to enable the ring fencing of water revenue. As the ANC, we believe that only through ring fencing water revenue will the water service authorities be in a position to maintain, refurbish, and rehabilitate the local water and sanitation infrastructure. For the ANC, it is imperative we build capable and functional public institutions that can best support the mandate of the department and its constitutional obligation. As this August House, we have the responsibility of overseeing the work of departmental entities that have in this medium-term expenditure framework allocated 20.8 billion to such entities as the water trading entity, the Catchment Management Agency, and the Water Board, among others. The catchment management agencies, which have been allocated an amount of 247 million for this financial year, have an important role to play in helping ensure fair and equitable access to water for socio-economic development, in the expansion of water user rights for historically disadvantaged communities, and in guarantee sustainable access to small household farmers. As much as we advocate for equitable access to water for socio-economic development, we are equally concerned about the pollution of the country's water ecosystem by the municipalities. We recognize the strides of the department working with catchment management agencies to institute legal actions against non-complying water service authorities, but also for initiating and supporting community-led forums to address water pollution. Honorable Chairperson, we in this committee must welcome, including EFF and MKP, we must welcome the measure that has been put in place to monitor adherence to the department's regulations concerning disaster management and water pollution, ensuring the health of rivers and the restoration of the country's water ecosystem. The department has allocated 244.3 million in the current financial year for the water service regulation program, which is responsible for developing, implementing, monitoring, reviewing regulations related to water resources, especially those concerning compliance, monitoring, and enforcement, dam safety, resource protection, and waste management. The department and its entities have a full support for the planned enforcement of compliance measures and consequence management against municipalities that do not comply. We implore you, Honorable Minister, for expeditiously provide the needed support to struggling water services authorities, either by invoking the secondary function of water boards or by adopting special purpose, by invoking the secondary functions of the board or adopting a special purpose vehicle to take water over the sanitation. ANC, we support this, and then we hope for to the EFF. To the EFF, if you are so concerned about lack of water to the clinics, schools, then you must start doing the right thing of accepting the budget. And then the MKP, Honorable Reddy, when you were confused? Because you said, Minister,
Honorable Kekhakwile,
take over.
Honorable Kekhakwile, please take a seat. Please take a seat. Before you come, Honorable Mente, Honorable Reddy, you are seated just in front. Your gestures are really, you are allowed to howl, but your gestures, if you are holding something, you can hit a person there. I'm not arguing with you. I'm not arguing with you. Yeah, please heckle, it's allowed, but limit your gestures, they are too much. Honorable Mente, Honorable Kgagilwe. Honorable members, can I listen to Honorable Mente?
Thank you very much, Chair. Now, I think the speaker on the podium, Chair, on a point of order. If she wants to join the EFF, there is an online form.
Honorable
We have an
Mente.
online membership form.
Honorable Mente, there's no point of order. Can you proceed, Honorable Kgagilwe?
Thank you, Chair. To Honorable Reddy. Honorable Reddy, I am still saying you were confused. You said the minister is responsible for the provision of water. That is not the case. That is not. And later on, you said the department is responsible to support as well as the province. Don't do that. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Kgagilwe. Thank you. Honorable Reddy, can you switch off? Thank you. The last speaker, order honorable members, the last speaker will be the Honorable Deputy Minister of Water Affairs.
Honorable Chairperson, thank you so much. Minister, Deputy Minister, the Chair of our Portfolio Committee, members of Parliament. I do join all those who are mourning the passing of His Excellency Comrade Didi Mabuza. The debate today in terms of the terrain, the world is facing a number of challenges and a number of crises that are happening simultaneously that are threatening our collective existence. We are quite aware that in terms of the world is taking time to recover from COVID-19, issues of trade wars, issues of security challenges and climate change, and most of the SDG goals are not going to be achieved. As we stand today, more than 2.2 billion people have no access to water, 3.6 billion people have no access to sanitation, and then 2.4 billion people are living in areas that are actually in a dry space. In our own country, we have a number of challenges. We have made strides, 90% have access to water. There is still a 10%, but more importantly, the reliability has dropped to 68%. It must be increased to more than 80%. In terms of non-revenue, water is at 45%. It must be reduced to around 20%. We wanted to confirm that when it comes to water security in our country, the country remain in water balance around the question of 2030. We are currently at 17 billion cubic meters per annum, and the yield is currently at 15 billion cubic meters per annum, but there is a deficit in various catchments. It was absolutely correct when the minister and the president, they made water a priority area. Hence, we convened the Water Indaba to respond to the challenges we face around water security, but also the reliability of supply in terms of water and sanitation. What is more important is that many members we have spoken about the challenges of local government. The 105 municipalities that are not doing well were identified by our own reports by the minister, ACDP, COGTA, and others, and we are intervening in terms of fixing local government, but more importantly, dealing with the water question. That is our response as a country. We are quite aware that we are going to require a united and a bold action, avoid fragmentation. We are also going to require that we mobilize expertise and technologies and resources from all the societies that are here. But what are we doing? What we are doing, we are going to proceed with deep reforms. One of the matters of the deep reforms is to ensure that the institutional architecture around the delivery mechanism must change. In 30 years, it has worked, but it can't work going forward. Hence, the decision of the ring fencing in terms of the trading entities for water and sanitation is the most important decision we're making. But more importantly, is to ring fence the budget so that you can be able to sweat the asset. The second intervention, what we are doing, is to ensure that we are building issues of concessions as part of the delivery model. As part of the delivery model in terms of water security for protection, we are putting institutions like the National Water Resource Infrastructure Agency, but we're also putting the CMAs. That is our response. But how are we going to finance all these issues? The traditional financing is not adequate. Grants and all these other matters will never solve all the problems. The budget of more than 212 billion combining the trading entity and the main account is not sufficient. That's why we are looking at issues of blended finance. Blended finance where the state uses the infrastructure with National Treasury, budget facility, our water partnership office. We have raised more than 23 billions just to respond to these issues. And many of these organizations and municipalities are putting their business plans, turnaround plans, World Bank in terms of metro trading services, issues of non-revenue water. This is our response. When it comes to private-public partnership, issues of your oil funds management model is an example of working with the mines. Valmahara project, and many of them. These are the ones where TCT and ourselves, we can be in a position to go to market. There is also a possibility, like Minister should be hosting the African Union, Africa Investment Program, to deal with the question of the 30 billion US dollars deficit per annum, to raise the necessary finances, not for ourselves, but even for our own continent. Therefore, the issues of World Bank, IMF, BRICS Bank, the Development Bank of Africa, they are all willing. And in August, here in Cape Town, we'll be raising the flag because globally, we need about 7 trillion US dollars. We don't have that particular money for the issues of dealing with the issues of water and sanitation because it remains a problem. International collaboration on water is important. Water knows no boundary. It has no ideology. We share the rivers with our own neighbors. We are very thankful that the Lesotho Highlands scheme is back on track. 44% right now is a progress that is being made. Yes, 28, 29, the water will be delivered here in South Africa. We're working with the Zimbabwean around the question of Musina. We're working with Botswanas, the Namibians. There are many of these projects that we are doing together because we have a shared water system and we have a shared destiny that all of us, we must be able to do. We're also working with the issues of partnership, working with private sector in a form of infrastructure called South African Water Partnership Network. We have all your bigger water users, your Coca-Cola and others, the mines who are working together to find a solution. More importantly, those who think that the minister is not intervening, we've intervened with a lot in a number of municipalities, a number of interventions from KwaZulu-Natal, Mpumalanga, and elsewhere. We are going to do that. If municipalities fail, we'll support them. But if they continue to neglect their job, we'll intervene in terms of Section 63, but we need legislative amendment so that it can become an enabling tool. Fixing local government is everybody's responsibility. On behalf of our minister, we wanted to support this budget that has been appropriated. There are two accounts. There's a water trading account. In the main is for water security, all the dams, the canals, to ensure that we don't run out of water. It has 136.309 billion rands over the MTF. When it comes to the main account, we have 74.941 billion rands. That is over the MTF. In total, we are having 202.25 billion that we wanted to support. The one on the main account, it has issues of transfers to support local government. In the main, that's our intervention. We are supporting them. We will not allow them to fail, but they must take responsibility because constitutionally, they have a responsibility. As I close, in the next 8 days, we shall be celebrating the International Mandela Day, who dedicated his entire life in championing the struggles of freedom, democracy, justice, peace, and equality and change. He left an incredible mark for the future generations and a better world. As a democratic representatives here in Parliament, we are called to work side by side with all our sectors of our nation, leaving no one behind, to ensure that we are ensuring water security and reliability of supply for all. His words that are timeless and profound, they must continue to propel us when he says, what counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived, It is what the difference we've made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we live. Let water flow in each household. Let water ensure food, energy, and environmental and social security. Let decent sanitation restore human dignity, preserve our environment, ensure food and energy security. Let sanitation create new opportunities in terms of wealth of the green and the blue bonds. God bless South Africa, her sons and daughters. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Minister. Honorable members, that concludes the debate and the business of this mini plenary session. The mini plenary will now rise.
When I write it down,